Actually, when I loudly throw in the faces of right libertarians that the cops standing down would lead to riots and looting, I don't see that as a negative or a reason to argue in favor of policing or the state. I'm an anarchist, remember. What I'm pointing out is that their concept of statelessness is impossible. That real statelessness would not have the consequence of spontaneous order and people basically obeying the status quo, as though the cops are merely extraneous, unnecessary bureaucracy, but of a spontaneous redistribution of wealth. And I'm in favor of this. What the right libertarians don't understand is that the state exists to protect property rights. See, as an anarcho-communist, an actual anarchist, I don't like calling them libertarians. I'd rather just call them liberals. But people that call themselves liberals almost universally understand the simple truth that the state exists to uphold property. To uphold property, to protect property, to save your property from the masses of poor people that don't have any. Not as a corollary, not as an accident, as its primary and at times singular purpose. That's why we have a state, folks, so that poor people don't steal your stuff. The state is property rights. To argue that you can have property rights without a state, it's incoherent. It would be open class war. People shooting each other over nothing. To start with. That is my point. But again, I'm not opposed to this. In fact, I'm patiently waiting for it. Right libertarians want everything the state provides, but without a state itself. They think that if you take away the state, there'll just be a state. That we will live the same way without a state as we do with it. Or to put it another way, they want a state, but they don't want to be taxed to pay for it. The cops, of course, are never going to stand down. If we want to get rid of the cops, we're going to have to take up arms and fight them. But if they did, I would expect that the looting and rioting would be temporary and fizzle out along with the inequality that exists as a function of the property that can't exist without them. So once we take away the cops, we'll have all of this looting and rioting, and everything will kind of, there'll be explosions and chaos and everything else. But once the dust settles, we'll have a much fairer society. Because we won't have cops keeping poor people poor anymore. But the looting itself, it would be legitimate. It would be a process of distributive justice. Because that's what the revolution is, right? You don't throw away the state for no reason. You throw it away because it upholds property. And property is at the root of all injustice. What the revolution means is abolishing property. Abolishing property. So how can you say that there can be property after the revolution? This is counter-revolutionary at best. But it's just status quoism, truly. People that call themselves libertarians on the right, they don't want a change of anything. They want the system exactly as it exists, but they just don't want to be taxed for it. A true revolutionary wants to tear all of these things down. And if you carefully examine all of the things that we want to tear down, at the core, at the heart of everything, okay, is property. Well, it's 7:30 a.m. and I've actually already been up a few hours today. I split shifted yesterday, which was merely a consequence of trying to force myself to sleep. Had I not tried to force myself to sleep, I would have, no doubt, just stayed awake longer. As it is, I tried to force myself to sleep yesterday morning. Slept for like an hour, and then like I didn't get a full day in afterwards. I only got like a 10-hour day in after that. Right? I would have been better off had I just stayed awake. So I need to learn from that and not make that error anymore. Right? There was a time a little while back where I was dealing with what's the word I'm looking for here? Anxiety, anyways, from not sleeping, right? So I was forcing myself to sleep, and then that kind of got together with the not smoking and everything else. But like I said, I'm back. I'm still kind of getting back to my normal insomniac self, but I'm learning that. I should say I'm remembering that there's a reason I always stayed awake for these long periods, and it's because of what just happened, right? So, I need to learn the lesson. No more forcing myself to sleep. I mean, there might be a good reason. I want to go to a concert or something. I need to get some rest, but I need to stop doing that. I did get about 6 hours. I fell asleep around 11. I was up. It was close to 5. So I got a few hours. That's enough. That's more than an hour, and it was real sleep. So, I got some sleep. I'm awake. Let's start a new day today, September 24th. I'm not done yet. I'm still not done with the Alter Reality. I need to make that a priority, and then go from there. Okay, so it's a little after 10 in the morning, and holy shit, has it ever cooled down out here. Like, it's dramatic. I have a little bit of... I haven't published a new post, but I have done a little bit of Alter Reality thinking. I kind of spent the morning floundering again, including trying to figure out if I want to go do this show tonight. I have decided that I'm going. It's kind of it's an experimental techno artist. I think it's all original sequences. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. I think that he considers it original compositions, one way or the other. That I've missed a few times. I think this is the third time I've tried to catch him. And it's unusual in being and how much it is up my alley. From a stylistic style. From a stylistic point of view, I'm not used to running into techno artists that are that close to what I do. Right? So, or it's not even close to what I do, but that close to what I like. I believe this guy is from Detroit. In fact, I think he's from the suburbs of Detroit. And the fact that he plays Windsor semi-frequently, and doesn't seem to get a lot of gigs in Detroit, probably has a lot to say about how far off the music scene here is from where I would like it to be. So he's quite good at what he does. I think that this is another opportunity for networking that I should not avoid. Being said, you know me, I can't talk to people, so I'm going to need to get some juice. But I don't want to... that messy night a few weeks ago, I didn't want to spend as much as I did then, and I spent a little bit more on... I ended up spending like a bunch of money on pop, and I spent more on food than I wanted to and everything else. So, I'm by no means hurting. On top of that, I had to double over my estrogen because of the way that it worked out, right? So I had to pay twice in August, and now I'm paying at the end of the month, and it's gonna freak me out until December, anyways. I'm gonna see if I can make sure that I get them to prescribe not 60, but like maybe 64 or 65, so that this doesn't happen, and I can move over to the front of the month rather than the end of it. But for now, that I lost about $100 there too. So I didn't lose it. It's just it got eaten. So Well, when it throws back over to the other side, I'll have an extra $80 one month, right? So yeah, but right now it's taken. So spent a little more than I wanted to, and the point being that I don't want to buy drinks at the bar, so I'm going to get a little Mickey at the liquor store, dump it in a coffee, and then I'll buy a couple of beers, but I can't go to a dance party sober. I just end up like sitting in the corner by myself, and I don't have fun unless I get to a certain level of inebriation. It's, as we've seen, it can be a little bit of a dangerous balancing act, right? But I don't want to go without anything. So if I can get something that's worth, well, I had 6 shots the other night. I keep saying that that's not too much, but I mean, it's 6 shots and 5 drinks. It in like 4 hours was excessive. I couldn't normally deal with it, right? Like I'm not gonna pretend that it was outside of my abilities, but I shouldn't pretend it wasn't excessive either. It was obviously excessive, right? So I should be real about both levels of criticism, right? But if I can get like, a little bottle with 3 or 4 shots in it, and just dump into my coffee, and just kind of, maybe leave an hour early and hang out outside. I think that's kind of my plan. So I'm going now so that it's dealt with, and I can go back to dealing with the ultra reality for the rest of the day. Then hit the shower. I haven't taken a shower in far too long. Shower, get ready, and then go. So kind of want to get it dealt with, kind of thing, right? So that's what I'm doing. It's going to be cooler tonight than it's been, but I mean, it's the end of September and the overnight is like 15 degrees. So I mean, it's not like it's cold. It's just more. In fact, it's still above seasonal. So I think it's 17 right now, and I'm okay in a t-shirt. Alcohol warms you up. I think that so long as I don't wear a tank top, I'll be fine. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. I won't touch it until I'm about to go, but that's the idea there. I don't think that this is eating into my plan, so long as I do get the ultra reality done today, right? Which means that when I get back, I need to step it up a little. I got some Fireball here. I mix it with some coffee, chocolate coffee, so it'll be like a Frappuccino Fireball, chocolate cinnamon. I'm sure it'll be delicious. That's 33. I almost got Kahlua, but 20 is a little too little, and I decided the vodka was a little too much. So 33 is the middle point. So whatever happens tonight, remember I'm moderated. So yeah, I gotta go home and do the ultra reality, and I am actually like I have to finish this now, kind of thing. It's actually a very nice day to take a walk. It's a bit of a brisk breeze. It's kind of blowing away the humidity a little bit, which is, I like it hot, but it's, it's nice to get a little relief anyways. No matter how hot you like it, it's been a bit punishing this summer, so the breeze is nice. It's cloudy, but it's breaking from time to time, right? So when the clouds break, you get the sun, and it's bright and hot. But when the sun goes and hides behind the clouds again, and you get the breeze, and it's just pleasant. Nice pleasant fall day. We already had the pleasant vlog. If you go back and look, I don't know how pleasant it was. I gratuitously used this word pleasant. I think it would be pleasant of me to avoid that, but it might be unpleasant if I was to go back to that. There's a little bit of the sun there. Yep, nice day. Actually, I forgot to check for leaves turning. These are all evergreens. There's a green tree over there, but like it's still it's solid. Evergreens are not. A little bit of changing over there. Okay. So again, I can't state with any certainty whether this is normal for here because and I suppose I could have paid attention the last 2 years, but I just kind of didn't. I wasn't walking around with a camera documenting things. It's funny how you pay attention to things more when you're observing things more. Maybe it's not so funny, maybe it's just definition, but it is certainly the case. So lots of green. And like I say, the temperature is still like solid 20-degree days for the near future. In fact, it may even warm up again next week, if you can believe that. I think that I can state, without looking at any weather models, that there is an almost certain chance that we will get at least some sort of cold snap before Halloween. Okay? If we don't get a cold snap before Halloween, even if it's only 2 days, right? Then, we need to start things are happening faster than anyone thought. In fact, we already know things are happening faster than a lot of people thought. Or, let me rephrase that. There were people that thought that it was happening this fast, but they were on the high end. And much like elections, when you aggregate things, the real world doesn't usually land in the middle, right? If you have 10 predictions and they follow a normal curve, as they probably will, it doesn't mean that the middle is the most accurate representation, right? Like that's just not sound thinking. But that's the logic that is often presented, right? They take all the predictions of warming and they average them out. When in fact, if you have 100 predictions and they're all different, 99 of them are going to be wrong and one of them is going to be right. And the right way to do that is not to balance them all out. Let's, take a compromise. Physics is not based on compromise. You fucking liberals. Physics is not compromised. One of them's wrong and the rest of them aren't. And, the hard part is figuring out which one's right. And actually more to the point, explaining why the other ones aren't. So, it may be overperforming the average, but looking at the average was never the right way to do it. The way to look at it is say, okay, the more aggressive models seem to have been more correct, right? Anyways, like I say, we should expect a cold snap before Halloween, and it's going to be something else if we don't get one. This is Canada. 20-degree days from May to Halloween? That's madness. I tell you though, it sure does feel warm in here after walking around outside. Yikes. Clothes off. I'm going to say this one last time, guys. Okay, the Democrats need to go after older voters. The strength of the stock market is a good argument. Look what happened in 2008 with Bush. Look at all the pensioners that rely on the market to eat. Young people really have no rational reason to vote for Hillary Clinton. Older people could lose everything if Trump fucks up the market. I think that's the key to winning this thing, going after pensioners. I think the market's a very good argument. Why aren't we hearing it? You have an old candidate that appeals almost solely to old people. Stop flailing against it. Use it to your advantage. If you're voting for your pension, this is a no-brainer. If you're voting for the future, there's no good answer. I mean, Reagan didn't win the youth vote. Reagan was the only candidate we've seen comparable to these dinosaur candidates. And this is the closest thing that we came to winning the youth vote, guys. Or sorry, that Reagan came to winning the youth vote, guys. Yeah. A little bit of snark there. If you get it, you get it. And a couple of songs there. And one of them reminded me of the insane masterpiece by Lightning Bolt called Dead Cowboy. Those ducks. Stand your ground. Fuck that tank. Listen. Kids are always going to vote against the status quo. Hillary Clinton is the status quo. Figure it out, okay? She shouldn't be losing older voters. What will Trump do to the markets, to Social Security? And don't underestimate the effects of a climate change narrative if it's directed at grandchildren. The election is between two people that should be retired. Let's all get with it. I stopped because I lost some writing there. I'm realizing it. I need to be more careful. But in the end, she might get the neocon unification scheme she wants. What she doesn't realize is that the target of the hate will be her. She's right. We are stronger together. But right now she has to win this stupid thing. Again, forget it. The kids are on the brink of revolt, not on the brink of falling in line. The boomers created this mess. They're going to have to eat it. But this shouldn't be a hard argument for her. It really shouldn't, okay? Pensions, markets, grandkids, drug costs. Yes. Absolutely. Okay, so it's about 8 o'clock and I'm hopping in the shower. Did I get done with the Alter Reality? I got about, I more than half done. It's a lot of writing, okay? I wrote maybe 3 or 4 pages. Like you know, if I was to print it out, it would have come up to about 3 or 4 pages. So, I mean, it's a lot of work, right? I think I can get it done by the end of the weekend, presuming I make it home safe tonight, which I think is a given. We'll find out. I thought it was a given before. The plan is still to finish this and then move on for Monday, right? So as long as I get to that, I'm okay. I'm up to the 15th. So I'm going to have to do one for the 15th, and then one for 22nd, and then a review of Pinkerton by Weezer. What did I actually do? I did a review of New Adventures in Hi-Fi by R.E.M., the Smashing Pumpkins concert on the 13th, and actually, I guess that's it, huh? I thought I did more than that. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm maybe a little bit less than half done. Okay. Either way, I got a good chunk in. We'll finish the rest tomorrow, or I might get to a little bit more tonight. I doubt it, though. It's more just like my mind's out of it, and I don't want to leave the water running too long. I had to let it warm up, so this makes sense. But and we'll wait until I'm done entirely before we talk about it, because we're going to be talking about 2 or 3 songs at the same time, right? So getting ready to go. I got some work done. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I got enough done that I can, keep going. Okay, I'm out of the shower. I'm still naked. And I'm not going to start drinking this yet, but I am going to make the drink so I can let it sit for a little bit. In fact, I'm going to get something to eat before I leave. I'm going to do a culinary sequence, though. So, actually, let me put that back on for the culinary sequence. Okay. So let's do a culinary sequence here. We'll do a... What are we going to call this? Chocolate cinnamon... chocolate cinnamon spiked coffee. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Right now, let's just go ahead and do it. Okay. So to make this drink, and I must acknowledge that I have never made this drink before. I just think it sounds good, and we'll have to see. This is how we cook: is we just mix shit up, and we determine if it's good afterwards. Experiment. Let's be scientists. Okay, so I got a bottle of Fireball here. This is 200 milliliters, which means that depending on how you measure shots, it is between it's about 4.5 shots, right? So I'm used to taking 2 shots at a time, separated by around an hour or so. So that means I don't want to drink this all at once. But if it takes me If it takes me an hour to drink it, I think that's reasonable. Okay, I'm old, I'm in my mid-30s, and I've done a lot of drinking in my life. So, if you're 19 years old, maybe you might want to do half this, right? Unless you've been drinking since you were 12, in which case you are much more hardcore than me. Alcohol was the third or fourth drug that I tried. Yeah. And one of the other ones was not nicotine. So, I think I was 17 the first time I was drunk. Anyways, so we dumped that all the way through. As you can see, this is an extra large cup of coffee. You don't have to do the 7-Eleven route. You can go to Tim Hortons or Starbucks or whatever you want. But we're doing this because we are going to be mobile. The cops gotta love me, right? Hey, if there's no victim, it's not a crime, right? I will hold to that truth. You're gonna find somebody on disability. How about this? If I'm drunk enough that I actually if I'm drunk enough that I catch a police person's attention, then I will have no problem with them sending me home. It's not likely. Okay, so we do that there, and then we're going to fill this with coffee. Now, this is the actual reason I wanted to do this, because I wanted to see if I wanted to make a new coffee. Okay, it may seem like I want to make a new coffee, but I'm going to rather instead do something that's a little bit gross. This is my coffee that I've had, I don't know, I guess an hour or something. I'm just going to take that coffee, and hey, I'm the only one drinking this, so I'm going to take that coffee and I'm going to dump it in here. Okay? Okay. That's better. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some chocolate soy milk, and I'm going to fill it up. Okay. So what is this then? This is a Fireball there's a good name for it. A Fireball Frappuccino. Yeah. Again, Fireball, guys. You can send me a check if you want. Fireball Frappuccino. Remember, I have no idea what this even tastes like. I would imagine that the cinnamon and chocolate and coffee are probably quite good. But if you know Fireball, you know that it's probably going to have quite the bite. And I would actually suspect that the coffee is going to enhance the bite rather than drown it out. But let's see. Now, I still have to shave, so actually, you know what? I'm not going to take this yet because I have to shave. We'll just let that sit, and I'll come back to it after. See? This can be educational. With, on my book learning plus my street smart real life education. If you're going to shave, don't get drunk first. Do not shave while drunk. Don't drink and shave. It's a bad idea. And you might ask how I know that it's a bad idea to drink and shave, and you would be right to deduce that I have cut myself shaving while I'm drinking, which is a problem on 2 levels. Number 1 is that you bleed more when you're drunk, right? Your platelets don't work nearly as well. And number 2 is that it doesn't hurt as much. So you don't feel it, and you're bleeding. It's just a bad idea to play with knives, razors, anything that's remotely pointy is something that you want to avoid when you're drunk. It should be obvious, but they hand out those Darwin Awards for a reason, right? And you might think that you only live once. You do only live once. Hopefully, you want to stretch it out a little bit longer, right? Because you don't want the graveyard that says, here lies Mr. Smith, who died shaving while drunk. You don't want that gravestone. Yeah, just don't do it. I am running a little bit late, and I totally forgot to even have these pants. I guess I gained a little weight and they didn't fit, but I lost the weight and now they fit. Which is weird because I'm trying to gain weight, but it's not. It's like where the weight's coming. I needed a boost in estrogen, clearly, and I got it, and that's good. So pants like this now fit again, and that's good. That's right. Okay. Don't do that at home, kids. Or do it at, if you're gonna do it at home, don't film it and upload it to the internet. That's what's creepy about this. Let's move on. Like I said, I'm a little late. I'm eating. There we go. Let's focus there for a second. I have not started drinking yet. I actually really haven't. I'm eating. I gotta get some rye in me, rye bread in me, put some makeup on, and then get out. But that's a no makeup shot with. These are trendy bitch pants right now, are they not? If I was being a really trendy bitch, I'd have those like bourgeois rips. Buy them pre-ripped. $200 pair of jeans with rips in the front. It drives me crazy. You bourgeois piece of shit. At least if they're finding a way to like reuse the denim. I don't know. I think we'll go with the non-holdy pants. Yeah, I'm gonna prefer that. Let's finish eating and then get out of here. Okay, so it's 10:30, and I'm still not done yet. Still not ready to go. Soon, like within 10 minutes, kind of thing. But this is a situation I didn't want to be in, which is that I now have about a half an hour, give or take, to take 5 shots of Fireball. Make the best of it. Right now, I need to wash down a little bit of rye bread. So I'm going to take a swig, and I'm going to go ahead and have my taste test here. So that's what's coming up right here. I'm just going to stop and start. Alright, so here's my taste test. What does this taste like? Oh, it's very strong. To be honest with you, I probably could have got away with roughly half of that. If this was purely for taste, you know, if I was drinking this just to taste it rather than to, you know, for the effects of the alcohol, I would say you probably want about half. Although, you know, maybe you like it really spicy. And maybe you'll get used to it. I don't know. You know, your mileage may vary. I gotta get ready and get out. Alright, I am now officially ready to go. I think it's, I wish my hair was just a little bit flatter, but I think that, I think I'm okay. I'm sure I'll enjoy dancing a little bit, but I'm really actually there to hear the DJ. Yeah. And, should I have some kind of, like, curvy tightening kind of thing? Not a corset, but just like a... Let's get a lid on this, and let's get out. Even the DJ night here is dead. The owner of this place opened another bar around the corner. It's a lot bigger. But it's just like, you know, basic dance party stuff. You know, this is... What's going on here is a lot more interesting to me, so that's the thing. Problem is that I'm barely a quarter through this, and I can barely sip it. The idea of me chugging it is off the wall. Doesn't look like anything started yet, so I'm going to hang it aside for a bit. In fact, I'm getting the impression that it might be bailing on me here. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm walking home after the show. I'm frustratedly sober. actually. Given how much I drank tonight, I think I'd be a lot more drunk. But it's like, tonight was one of those nights where I never got over the hump. It happens from time to time. You drink a lot and you don't get over it. You just, And I think maybe it justifies my decision to drink so much the other night, because I drank 200 milliliters of. That's 5 shots of Fireball, and in the end I had 2 beers on top of it, and I'm really not even tipsy, I'm entirely sober. I'm a little loose, but I'm not at all drunk. So it's, like I say, I can normally handle a lot of liquor, and the amount of liquor I drank tonight would knock most people out. So what can I say? It was just, like I say, the other night I just did not sleep, and do I think the rye bread I ate, I didn't even eat the whole piece of bread. I left the crusts, I did finish, actually, the entire thing. It took me a while, I spent some time talking with the 5 Hotel guy, and it's been pretty cool. I don't know. We'll see how that works out, but I mean, I say that like I'm expecting something, I'm not, but I mean, it's... Part of the reason I came tonight was to network a little, so people would know who I am, I think I accomplished that without getting anywhere with it, kind of a layup, groundwork kind of evening. Like I said, I'm really not inebriated at all. I'm a little, I'm loose, but I'm completely in control of myself. So it's, I kind of wish I got over the hump, right? And that was the night, right? I'm on the dance floor and I'm dancing, and it's I'm not drunk enough to dance, but I'm almost drunk enough to dance. It's you can feel, it's like a potential energy thing, and you feel it coming in waves, and it just never gets over. If I had found somebody with some birthday present, yeah, that's the thing that takes you over, right? Like I say, it's never going to knock you out, but it'll take you to the next level. It's a few months away. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get some nachos on my way home. I had a good night. It's just I didn't get over that hump, and it's, like I say, it's a little frustrating, but you take it for what it is, And like I say, I had a good evening. It was a good set. Even if I wish it was just that much more. I'm not gonna cross here. I'm gonna wait. See, if I was drunk, I might have tried to cross there. It's a good thing maybe I'm not, but my cigarette's also out. So I'm gonna turn this off, light my cigarette, and get some nachos and go home. But I want to be clear, the night was spent on the brink, right? It's like I was just there, just not quite over it. I just needed that extra push. And like I say, I really am completely sober. I'm loose, but I'm sober, and it's, if I just had that extra push, right? I might have gotten it, but when I went to get my third beer, it was 5 after 2, and I just missed it, right? I didn't hear a last call, so it's what do you do, right? I had fun, and like I said, it was a good set. It's just I wish I was that extra. I wish I had that extra push, right? It's, for me, dancing requires a certain level of inebriation, because I'm a rational asshole, right? I'm very rational. I need a level of inebriation to flail wildly in public, it's, I'm not going to do that otherwise. It's what are you doing? You're dancing. Why are you doing that? It's,
What is the rational reason that you're dancing? You know, can you provide a proof for the reason you should be dancing? Right? That itself is absurd, to need a proof to dance, right? If X is then, yeah, but you couldn't even define it. Like I'm bullshitting. I'm bullshitting you, right? But it's an abstract concept, right? But when I get over that level, I let go, and it's just like I start flailing, you know. And I wasn't quite, but I was on the brink, right? It's like I felt it, and I just needed that push. So it was frustrating, but it was also a good night, you know. Like a good night that could have been that much better. Alas, like I say, just a few more months, and I can do this freely, as I would like to. I am now at the nacho dispensary, where I will get some nachos. Nacho dispensary. It's a storehouse of goods. I just want to clarify further. I'm at home. I'm finishing a cigarette that somebody gave me. Worked out to about 3.5 hours, 6.5 drinks, 2 drinks an hour. It's not exact, but, you know. I'm not suggesting I should drive a car right now, but, like, I didn't intend to drive a car. I went out dancing, right? So it's like, like I say, I'm very loose, you know, like I'm kind of, you know, but I'm not, I didn't get over, you know. So when I tell you that I had 11 drinks the other night, or what was it? It was, what? 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 11 drinks the other night. Like, well, I had 7 tonight in 3.5 hours, and I'm, you know, I'm not drunk, right? And I haven't been drunk all night. There were a few, like, I got like maybe 20 minutes of dancing, right? But I mean, it didn't get me over. And 7, 11, you know. So what's the middle point? 9, you know? Like, it's, like I said, what I really needed to get over the hump there was a little bit of birthday present, but it just goes to show that I wasn't excessive. I do need to drink a lot to get over, you know, because I'm not young, you know, and I don't get smashed off a shot or two, and I need a little bit more, right? And it was just the fact that I haven't slept. Even today, I had 6 hours worth of sleep, but I woke up at like 4, right? I've been awake 24 hours. I had 7 drinks in 3 hours, and I'm not drunk, right? So, when I say that I wasn't excessive, it was circumstances, like, I mean that, right? And I just proved it to you. Could I have gotten over the hump with more alcohol? I don't know. I don't know what else I would have needed. Like I say, I think a little, that little bit of birthday present would have done me, and I would have been able to let go and really dance. I did have a good night. I don't want to negate that. It's just like 7 drinks in 3 hours after not sleeping all day. You know, at the end of the day, right? Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I go drinking at 10 o'clock at night. And I have 7 drinks in 3 hours and I'm not drunk, right? That would be enough to knock most people out. But it's what it is when you're an old, experienced hand at this, right? It's not to say I'm not feeling anything. It's just like I'm in complete control, right? And I'm gonna have my meal, and I will probably finish it awake, and then go to sleep. In fact, I may actually be awake for a while. We'll find out.
I think that what it really demonstrates more than anything else is how little sleep I had that week. And how important it is to make sure that if you're going to go drinking, like, you're sleeping well, right? If you have a week where you're not sleeping, you know, that's what happens. I slept fairly well this week. You know, I was sick, but I slept well. And we see the difference, right? Big difference. Huge difference. I got some nachos. Let's enjoy that. I should probably check my email before or check my internet things stuff. And I think we're probably done for the night.